year, he takes a sacrifice on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And where does he go? Into the temple. Where else? I see some heads nodding. Into the holy place. Donald? The Holy of Holies. And what's in the Holy of Holies according to the Bible? God. Right. The Ark of the Covenant. But God himself says, I will be there. It is holy because that's where I am. So a person claiming to be the Jewish high priest is basically claiming to have been in the very presence of the Almighty God of the universe and to have survived. A person like this would be privy to secrets of the highest nature. They would have sway with the God who created the universe. The God of gods, the Lord of lords, the King of kings, the God who raised Jesus Christ from the dead. They would have sway with the God who has power over life and death itself. Talk about prestige in a city who looks at you for which God you can manipulate. So claiming to be a Jewish high priest is basically claiming in this context to not only know the name of the God of the Hebrews, the God who made the universe, the God who has power over life and death itself. This is an amazing claim and puts you in a very lucrative position in a city like Ephesus. One thing we have to understand about Jewish priesthood is that it's hereditary. You have to be a descendant of Aaron, Moses' brother, to be a priest. Even today, only those people who can trace their lineage back to Aaron can become priests. They're the only ones who are allowed, and they are priests by birth. If you are a descendant of Aaron, you are a priest. Whether you serve in the temple or not is the only difference. I heard an anecdote when I was in Israel about a Jewish priest and a rich man. The rich man came to the Jewish priest and said, I want you to ordain me. I want to become a priest. And the priest said, I can't do that. Only God can choose who becomes a priest. And the rich man said, I will pay you to make me a priest. He said, it's out of my hands. And day after day, the rich man would come and he would continue to offer and offer and offer money and offer money. And the priest's wife was saying, just do it. Crying out loud, sprinkle some water on the guy, say some words, and get the money, but make sure you get the money before you do it. And day after day, the price would rise a little bit more each day. The rich man said, I'll give you this, I'll give you this. And the wife said, look, you can use that money. We can use that money around the house, but we can use that. We can donate it to the synagogue. We need some new hymnals. We need some new pews. We can redo the sanctuary. Come on. So eventually, between his wife and the rich man, the priest was wore down, and he said, okay, I'll do it. So after he had been paid in full, he got together with the rich man, and they went to the synagogue. He sprinkled some water on him, said a few words like hocus pocus, alakazam. Poof! You're a priest. The rich guy stood up beaming from ear to ear. He was so happy. The priest said, I've got to know, why did you want so desperately to become a priest? You're a wealthy businessman. Why did you want to become a priest? And he said, well, my father was a priest. My grandfather was a priest. My great-grandfather was a priest. You are a priest by birth. He was a priest already, according to Jewish tradition. He was born a priest. Sceva, the so-called high priest in our story, had 7 sons. According to the Jewish tradition, they were also priests. Not only are they priests, but presumably their high priestly father has revealed to them some of the secrets he learned when he was in the presence of God. And they know how to manipulate the God of the universe to do their bidding. They would also be seen as having special access, special knowledge of the name of God, and so could manipulate him to do their will. So when they confront this demon-possessed man in our story today, the outcome seems like it should be obvious, but it is in fact not. Just as God surprises us by using mundane things to accomplish the amazing and extraordinary, God surprises us once again by refusing to use the powerful, the arrogant, to show his power. They walk in, these 7 brothers, against one man with an evil spirit, thinking they're pretty hot stuff. Yeah, that's right, the Skiva boys are here. Watch out, evil spirit. They thought they had the spirit lit before they began. 7 against 1, the odds are in their favor. Sons of a high priest, they've got special privilege and special powers. You can almost see them swagger as they walk into the house. But they are not swaggering when they run out of the house naked. I bet the lines on the paper, when Luke, of the original writing, when Luke was writing this, are probably very shaky at this point as he is laughing his head off, writing about these men running out of the house, buck naked, down the streets of Ephesus. The people laughing and jeering and the images are just probably flowing through his head. He's probably got to take a break, wipe his eyes, thinking about these naked guys, thinking they were hot stuff, running down the streets embarrassed and ashamed. You got to realize that Jewish people are very modest when it comes to dressing. In Israel, you always have to cover your shoulders, men and women. Your knees are always covered if you go into a holy place. So for them, nakedness was the ultimate shame. The temple was even designed in such a way as to protect the priests from showing their legs, because they built a ramp up to the altar rather than steps, because as you step up, a portion of your ankle might be exposed. And they wanted to protect the priests from that ghastly embarrassment. Noah cursed Ham and all of Ham's descendants for eternity because Ham looked at Noah's nakedness. The father of the prodigal son shows his overwhelming and uncontrollable joy at the return of his lost son when he hitches up his robe and exposes his ankles and his legs, his bare chicken legs, his white knees, knobby knees, running down the road to meet his son is the ultimate embarrassment. But he doesn't care because his joy is uncontrollable. So when Luke writes about the 7 Skiva boys running around in Ephesus naked with their pasty white buttocks sticking out, their untanned bodies, their arrogance is turned upside down from the moment they entered the house to the moment they left. God was not and will not be manipulated by those who are arrogant. He refuses to use the rich and the powerful. He let the demon-possessed man have his way with these arrogant men. And that one man beat the snot out of all 7 of them, leaving them beaten, broken, battered, and ashamed. He beat them so badly in the process that he tore their very clothes off their body. Their shredded clothes were left behind as this berserker chased them after his house, shouting, "I know Jesus. I know Paul. Who do you think you are?" One at a time, in a heap, bare, naked, these guys ran into the shame of the light of day. Their humiliation was complete. They had failed to exorcise the demon. Their manhood was beaten into a pulp as one guy took all 7 of these brothers. And their social standing was shattered as their naked little legs ran down the street, and people laughed at them and mocked them and jeered them and made loud and rude comments at them. God brought